It's really incredibly important, and it was it was a process that now is almost finished. Took us almost 3 years, I have to say, to switch all our boutiques globally to this new concept, which is really the story of the brand. So the idea is that you step into Audemars Piguet boutique and you have a contemporary version of our place of birth, the Vallée de Joux. So that's why you have imagery of this mythical place where the company was founded. That's why you have this facade, which is a stylistic rendering of the forest. So obviously you wouldn't know that immediately, but it gives you a certain idea, and it also gives you obviously a display of the products and of the craftsmanship, and it also gives you a true feeling of the brand. It's a very contemporary space, and that really makes a difference. So it's incredibly important, and it's been also incredibly successful. We have now around 50 boutiques in the world that are all now in this new concept, and we've seen a real impact to the business, obviously, but also to how people react to the brand and how they experience the brand. So. I mean, actually, maybe first of all, in terms of momentum, it's really true. The brand obviously was always incredibly strong in its fundamentals, but we see now really, since now about 2 years, so since early 2015, when the Swiss franc was set free versus the other currencies, which was a big shock. And really since then we really see the true momentum of AP, and we see AP really outperforming the industry. And I think it was a couple of things that really drove that, which we started actually before. And this is, I think, the strength today, that we addressed many things before things started getting maybe more difficult. And one is obviously the brand, so with the boutique being one of the touch points, but we really refined and repositioned the brand in terms of who we are, what we want to say. We did the same on distribution, so obviously building these boutiques, but also reducing distribution. We were over distributed. We did the same work on the collection. So a lot of fundamental work happened that brought us this momentum. And in terms of how to make sure that momentum continues, you said one word actually that I would still say is the most important, and it is consistency and continuity.
Okay.
So the brand in the past has suffered from too many erratic changes and a lack of clarity and direction. I really believe having that clarity and direction and be consistent and coherent about it is key. And we found our voice now, really, truly. So that's, I would think, is priority number one. And then obviously, while being consistent, always keeping it fresh and always coming with a new way of saying the same thing. So that's a bit I would say the way forward. Of course, there's no limit to creating new things, and that's also the strength of AP. Obviously, we won't necessarily have something absolutely groundbreaking every year. I mean, this year we had incredibly innovation with the Super Sonnerie, and it's even important to not sometimes be too fast. A piece like Super Sonnerie and the technology behind it. We launched in January. I think we still have to build that with our customers and our audience, and not everybody has seen it, not everybody has understood it, so we mustn't be too fast either. But in general, we would never limit ourselves to saying, oh no, we can't do that, or we don't want to try that. There's really boundless creativity. 2017 has, I think it's an incredibly strong year coming. One example, we just already presented a bit up front. It's going to be really launched at SHH in January, but we had the pre-launch already now in Florence, which is a new technique of refining our iconic Royal Oak. It's called Royal Oak Frosted Gold, a new collection for women within the Royal Oak franchise, with a hammering technique, finishing and Yeah, and what's called habillage, so kind of the cases and the bracelet for the Royal, incredibly important. And this is really a new technique and a new craft technique that we're bringing on top of the Royal Oak, and the pieces look absolutely stunning, and the reaction that we had so far are incredible. So there's a few of those things we have up our sleeves, and then we pace ourselves in terms of, maybe every 2 years there would be a major innovation. So we have a good pipeline that we feel strong about. No, on the contrary. So we've made a very important strategic choice, which is to limit our production at 40,000 pieces. So we've reached that volume already, kind of even last year, and we're at 40,000. This is our maximum capacity. We are producing 40,000 watches a year, and we cannot currently produce more across all collections.
Okay.
And we will not increase the production for at least, say, the next 5 years. This is a very important and major strategic decision, which in the current context is actually incredibly strong. We can do it because we are family owned. We obviously do grow well, but its growth and quarterly growth is not our primary objective. It's really the long term. So we want to stay at 40,000 watches for the foreseeable future, and it gives us a position of strength. The brand will remain incredibly exclusive, incredibly desirable. It will give us the time to do the things right, to focus on quality, to focus on doing more complications. And that's really the framework for the brand. So it's all about even more exclusive, even more rarity, and therefore even more value in terms of moving people up in the brand. So not at all going down in a segment and trying to open to a lower entry price point. I mean, first of all, the industry is a very competitive place, and I think for me always one of the key challenges, and I believe we have found a very good way to answer to that challenge, is actually differentiation. A lot of the brands, obviously, naturally, they all come from Switzerland. They all come from the 180 kilometers from Geneva to Neuchâtel or whatever area. They share pretty much similar histories, and finding differentiation in that field. So something that is unique and that is different and that is relevant to the audience today, that is really critical. And I think with the whole concept of the brand, we've really found that, and we found a unique place that is relevant, that people are interested in, that people like to know, obviously where a brand is from. How we also bring it across is very different. We're truly the only brand with that level of legacy and history that is really very contemporary in its expression, and so differentiation, I think, is a key thing in the industry.
So that for me is like, I almost think like you have to focus and invest on the storytelling as much as the actual thing that you're telling the story about. Looking back over the past few years, like can you tell me like how much sort of investment in like the department that you look after have you had more investment in sort of the marketing and the storytelling as opposed to say R&D or other departments?
No, I mean in general, obviously, and that will hopefully always remain. It makes also the absolute strength of AP. I mean, product comes first before anything else, and developing product, quality of product, that comes first before anything else. AP always had incredible product, incredible innovation, incredible quality, incredible finishing, and that's what AP always did well. And AP was always a great brand. But what then I think really accelerated things was getting that across and getting that message across in an even more concise and impactful way. So actually, what I can tell you is that we didn't at all significantly increase investment. We just changed what we invested in and how we told the story. But we never took a step to say we will, for a few years, to to blow things up, to boost things, we're going to overinvest massively. No, we were always very lean, we're always very structurally sound in our investment, but we completely changed what we said.